show where we two fellas talk about our list of movie blind spots or list of shame, movies that we have not seen that we are trying to correct. We're trying to get around, watch those movies, and then spew a bunch of nonsense to you, the viewing public, about what these movies mean to us. My name is Andy.
And I'm Adam.
And on Monday's episode, we did a movie that I had never seen before, an animated film from the Disney, the Mouse House, called Frozen. And Adam paired that with a movie that apparently neither one of us have seen.
That's right.
Up until now. And that movie is
Frozen. I'm pulling this one from IMDb. Anna, Elsa, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven leave Arendelle to travel to an ancient autumn-bound forest of an enchanted land. They set out to find the origin of Elsa's powers in order to save their kingdom in Frozen 2.
Yep. Something's wrong.
With you?
No, with you. You're wearing Mother's scarf. You do that when something's wrong. Did we hurt your feelings? I'm so sorry if we did. You know, very few people are actually good at family games. That's just a fact.
No, that's not it.
Then what is it?
There's this... I just don't want to mess things up.
What things? You're doing great. Oh, Elsa, when are you going to see yourself the way I see you?
What would I do without you?
You'll always have me.
All right, Frozen 2 got the band back together. It came out in 2019. It is still written, directed by Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee. It has all the same cast from before. We have Kristen Bell, Idina Menzel, Jonathan Groff, Josh Gad, all reprising their roles. We've added a couple more people to the cast. We have Sterling K. Brown. He's back as, or he's not back. He's new to the cast as Mateus, and we have Evan Rachel Wood as Iduna, which I think is Elsa's mom, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, right.
It's a movie that I haven't seen, even though I was a fan of Frozen, and it's a movie Andy hasn't seen because he never saw Frozen before, so it would not make sense for him to watch Frozen 2.
I'd be so confused.
He would be confused because he would be like, "Wait, Elsa has powers? I don't get what's going on."
What is this?
Yeah. So I'm going to toss it directly over to you. What did you think of Frozen 2?
I was really, really high on Frozen. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I did not like Frozen 2 Electric Boogaloo. I have to say that with every part too. Frozen 2, it's not Electric Boogaloo, but I like to say that. I wasn't
Frozen 2 the streets.
I wasn't that high on Frozen 2. It just didn't have the magic of the first film. I like one of the things I mentioned about Frozen that I really liked is I felt like it moved really well, the pacing, all that stuff. I was really, really interested in it. This, not so much. I mean, I just the pacing of this, I was kind of bored with it. I did not think the songs were in the same league as the songs from the first film. And maybe that's just because, you know, like I'm thinking of Let It Go, and this movie has no Let It Go equivalent to me anyway. I don't feel like there's any song that is as well known maybe from Frozen 2. I could be mistaken. But I feel like the songs are a step down. It's cool, you know, that they did get the band back together and it has essentially the same cast or same main cast. And I do think it's kind of cool exploring kind of the origin of Elsa's powers and like why, you know, how come she does have magic and her sister doesn't have magic. So it makes sense. And I understand why they took the story in that direction. But it just didn't really work for me. You know, Enchanted Forest, mumbo jumbo, Fern Gully stuff. I don't know what was going on. I mean, I was really, really enamored with Frozen, but Frozen 2, it was very ho-hum to me. I was not very into it. And what about you? I know it's your first time seeing it, even though you liked Frozen.
I would say take exactly what you said, record it, rewind it, replay it. Okay. This one is definitely a disappointment for me.
Yeah.
You know, there's some things I wish they I feel like there's less songs in this one, so it doesn't feel like as much of a musical as that one. Yeah. I wish like they opened up with like an opening number in Frozen, right, where they're sawing through the ice and stuff like that, and we don't get this in the movie. Like it feels like this one kind of veered away from that Broadway Disney musical tradition, and I think it made it worse because of it, right?
Yeah.
It hindered the movie and all that kind of stuff. I don't. I think Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis are all saying like when people want sequel, they want pretty much the same movie over again, and I think that's mostly true. And I wish this one was more of a rehash of the first movie. I think they could have found some other thing to mine and maybe structured it more similar to Frozen. I think it would have been better for the movie. It does feel like it feels almost like it would be like a straight to video kind of movie. It just doesn't feel like
it very much does.
It doesn't feel like it has the magic. It doesn't feel like they took the time to make it good. It just feels like it feels like it's the scraps of whatever Frozen has. The only thing this movie has going for it is the animation. The animation is gorgeous. The updated character models look a lot better. They look more realistic. I mean, obviously we have, 6 years of difference between the two movies. I just think it looks a lot better and looks more interesting, but it's just not good. It doesn't hold a candle to the first Frozen. And maybe because that movie was so good, it couldn't do anything but, falter when held that closely. But for me, I'm with you. It's just not interesting. Like I just don't care about the journey at all and all that kind of stuff at all. So and the music's not very good and all that kind of stuff. So I'm exactly where you are with it.
Yeah, the forest stuff and the kind of the chanting and stuff, it just all was very corny to me. I didn't care for it. I still like Josh Gad as Olaf, and I did like the sequence where she's trying to go across the water and like the horse keeps knocking her down, and she finally tames the horse and it becomes like her
water
little
horse.
Yeah, her little water horse that she rides around. I thought that sequence was kind of spectacular, but most of the rest of the movie was just It was very, again, ho-hum kind of to me. Yeah. I didn't hate the movie, but I completely agree with you. This seems more like a direct-to-video kind of inferior Disney sequel.
And I think they did some interesting things with the animation, and you can tell like things have progressed a lot, and it looks great, and they do have some set pieces that look cool, but they just not a good story to kind of highlight those things. Like, I just feel like more like, oh, we want to do this, this, and this, and they find a way to kind of string it together, right? It's just not that great.
Yeah.
I was
going to say, I would watch Frozen again in a heartbeat, Frozen 2.
Yeah.
Negative.
I want to watch Frozen, but with the updated models from Frozen 2.
So is there any word on a Frozen 3?
I don't know. I don't remember how well this movie was received, so I don't know if there's a Frozen 3 or not. I do know that pretty much after Frozen came out and, how well it was beloved and all that kind of stuff, there was pretty fast to talk about making a sequel, but for Frozen 2, I don't know if there's another one that works. I don't think Disney really has a tradition of doing like trilogies or stuff like that like we have with Pixar.
Yeah.
Because, Pixar did 4 Toy Stories.
Right.
Was 3, now 4. They did 3 Cars movies. They did 2 Finding Nemos, 2 Monsters Universities, or 2 Monsters Inc. movies. So I do think with the Pixar stuff, they did 2 Incredibles. There's more tradition of doing sequels, whereas with Disney, there's not really of coming out. So
yeah,
I don't know. And I do want to say, well, I don't know if I should say it. Okay, well, what am I trying to say? I know there's issues with John Lasseter. He invaded people's personal space, and that should never happen, and all that kind of stuff. But I do think there is some. I think he was able to pull better stories out of people at Pixar and people at Disney Animation when he was there than they have after him, and I feel like it's Disney's loss that they don't have someone that is as good of a storyteller as him. I just feel like everything post his leaving the company is just not as good. And I think Frozen 2 kind of probably started when he was there, but I don't know. I just feel like it's just not as good. Obviously, again, not happy, don't support what he was doing to people, especially that made him feel uncomfortable. It was unwanted, but I wish there was somebody there, maybe like a Brad Bird or someone that could step up and really get these stories kind of working, because I just feel like the Disney animated movies are just kind of not at what they used to be, what they were, earlier. I don't know. So I don't know why I felt like I want to say that, but I'm saying that anyways. Okay. So we already talked about. Did we talk about the critics on this guy or not?
No, it is. It's still fresh. Not quite as fresh as Frozen. Frozen was 90%. Frozen 2 is 78%. But curiously, this has a higher audience percentage, like 85% for the first movie, 92% for the second movie. I don't know. And Malton, again, nowadays, so he used to do the movie and video guide.
Yeah.
And I think the last edition of that was from like 2015 or something. So I don't think there's a newer edition. And on his site, if you look up his reviews, he no longer puts like stars. So you just kind of have to read through the review.
You think stars are like passe or whatever?
Well, I think he's forcing you to read the review. So you can't just look at it and go, oh, he's gave it 3 stars or 4 stars. But I read
He's making you work for it.
He's making me work for it. But I did read through his review of Frozen 2, and he was not really high on it.
Yeah.
He did not really care for it as much. So
yeah,
not favorable.
I wish it could have been better. I wish, even had good songs, it would have been a better movie. It's just, there's nothing. I mean, there's a couple redeeming things animation-wise, but nothing story or music that could really, you can hang your hat on in this movie.
Well, I do know that if you are a Frozen fan of either or both movies and you have Disney Plus, there is no shortage of other Frozen things.
I watched one of them.
I watched a few.
I watched the Olaf doing the...
Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny.
Olaf Presents, something like that. So
or he does like little sketches of...
Yeah. Well, because in Frozen 2, he basically summarizes the first movie.
One, yeah.
He does, and so he does other movies like Aladdin and The Little Mermaid and Moana, and I don't remember what else he does, but they're all pretty funny. Yeah. I like that because again, Olaf's a funny character.
And there's also like a Frozen Encore.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. It's like Frozen. I don't even remember what it's called.
Frozen on Ice.
Yeah, it's Frozen something. Well, it's like they're trying to do like a birthday celebration for Anna, maybe, or Elsa. I can't remember which one. Then there's also on YouTube. I didn't find it on Disney Plus, but there's like Olaf at Home, and they were made, kind of during the time when everybody was kind of more staying at home during the pandemic, which obviously is still going on. But they did all this stuff from home, and those are actually really funny too. Those are really really short, like minute tops long, and there's like 20 of them, but they're all Olaf just amusing himself. Those are all pretty funny.
Just basically put a camera in front of Josh Gad and just tell him to do stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, you can find like a playlist that has like all 20 of them. You can watch them like no time flat. Cool. Those are all pretty funny. Then there's like Frozen, the Myth or something like that, and it's basically a woman telling her children the story of the elements, like the earth, air, fire, water, that are prominently played in the fifth element that in Frozen 2.
We should have mentioned that during the review. The
prequel to the
fifth element.
What's her name? Lilu or something?
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Yeah.
Or Captain Planet.
And then there's a 20-minute long Olaf's Frozen Adventure.
Okay.
Which is, kind of a fun little thing. I think that's the one. Is that the one where he's trying to find like a Christmas tradition? I don't remember. One of them, one of the little short things is it talks about when he was brought to life when she's singing "Let It Go" and all the way up till he meets Kristoff and Anna.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a cool little thing to watch. So there's like a Lego Frozen series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like 4 episodes. It's also on Disney Plus. So everything's on Disney Plus except for the Olaf at Home. Okay. Those are only, I think, on YouTube. But anyway, if you have Disney Plus, and obviously I think everybody's got access to YouTube, even if you don't have Disney Plus, you can watch all this stuff.
All right.
So you can get your fill of Olaf and Anna and Elsa and Frozen.
Maybe you'll fill the hole of Frozen 2 for you.
Feel that ice cold hole in your heart.
You got shot in the heart.
You got shot in the heart.
The rock trolls couldn't save you.
Nope.
But Olaf at Home could.
That's right.
All right. On our Wednesday episodes, we always like to answer viewers' questions. And we've talked about 2 recent Disney musicals this week. And we pulled a question that is... and we've talked about a couple Disney musicals before. As I say, I'm a fan of the Disney musicals. And you've seen a few of them. I made you seen a few more. Mm-hmm. And the question is, what is our favorite song from a Disney animated or Disney film in general, I guess?
Yeah.
It could be animated or otherwise.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to choose one, for sure. If you would have asked me when I was younger, I would have probably picked something from Aladdin, probably something the genie did. Like I like Friend Like Me because of all the voice changes, or the beginning song, the Arabian Nights. Um, but as I've gotten older, I've started liking other of the Disney kind of animated movies more than Aladdin. Like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, stuff like that. Even like Frozen, we talked about, has a bunch of good songs. Tangled has good songs.
Mm-hmm.
All that kind of stuff. So, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
It's hard for me to pick like a favorite. I just kind of went through and was just gonna name some kind of highlights.
Yeah, go for it.
I went.
My phone's playing.
Oh,
we're gonna get demonetized here.
oh.
How did I kill that? There we
Okay.
go.
I went way back and was looking like from the beginning of time as far as Disney stuff goes, because I know there's a lot of older kind of Disney animated movies like The Jungle Book and stuff like that I haven't seen in ages. But one that I always love from The Jungle Book is Bare Necessities.
I like the Bare Necessities. I was thinking when you're saying that, I can probably go animated by animated movie and pick out like my favorite song, right? I really like, for me, it's a toss up between Bare Necessities and King Louis song, Man Like You, or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
I like both of those songs a whole lot, and it's hard for me to choose. And also like the Snake song too. But it's hard for me to choose between Bare Necessities and the King Louis song, Like You.
Yeah.
But both good songs.
And then kind of going a little bit past that, you've got like, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious,
Spoonful of Sugar.
Spoonful of Sugar. Those
Popper.
are obviously classic.
Sherman Brothers did those songs. Awesome stuff. Yeah, those are really good songs.
But one before
Chim Chimney, and then
Chim
Fly
Chim
High.
Cheree, but one that I was gonna point out before we get into like the movies you mentioned, like Little Mermaid and stuff like that, or I was gonna talk about that because I would say mine are in there, but I've always liked the Candle in the Water song from Pete's Dragon. Not Candle in the Wind, Candle on the Water, sung by Helen Reddy.
Elton John stole the. No, I'm just kidding. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Pete's Dragon.
Yeah.
And I remember nothing about the movie.
I don't remember a whole lot other than Helen Reddy and Mickey Rooney are in it, and I remember Candle on the Water because that's the most well-known song I would say from Pete's Dragon.
And I think didn't Beds, Knobs, and Broomsticks also have like good songs? Angela Lansbury, I think, was in.
I know she's in it. I don't remember any of the songs that are from it.
King Arthur has some good songs. Or not King? Is it King Arthur? Sword and Stone was the name of the.
Oh man, I couldn't tell you a single song from Sword and the Stone.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that stuff. All right. What about you?
I mean, if we go on to like the '90s, when Howard Ashman kind of came in and brought in the Broadway tradition into the Disney musical tradition. Starting with The Little Mermaid, and then on with Beauty and the Beast, and then on with Aladdin. Unfortunately, he passed away during the making of Aladdin, but it continued on with like Hunchback of Notre Dame, Pocahontas, Hercules, and all that kind of stuff. It's really, like I said earlier, it's more like what are my top two songs from each movie, just because I really like all those songs a whole lot. But if I'm splitting hairs, and I am splitting hairs, I will have to say probably my favorite is Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid. I think that song is amazing. And if I remember correctly, they were going to cut it because I think like a kid dropped a soda or something during it, and the executives were worried that kids weren't going to be interested. I think that I remember that correctly. If I'm not, leave a comment down below and correct me. But Part of Your World is just an awesome song. It was Jodie Benson, the voice of Ariel, does a great job knocking it out of the park. And it's the first, well, not the first, but it's one of the most prominent Disney I Want songs, and it's really good.
And that little boy grew up to be Albert Einstein.
That's right.
No. I mean, again, I it's hard for me to pick like a favorite. I don't know. But I'm also, I would say, not as big of a Disney fan as you are. Not that I'm not a fan. I just mean he's a bigger fan than me. But I think, as a cheat here, I'm just going to say, I think those movies that you mentioned, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
Lion King, those kind of movies in succession. And I think we talked about this before on maybe another question that we had. That to me is just amazing. Those are amazing films, amazing songs in them. So, I mean, Kiss the Girls, Under the Sea, all that stuff from Little Mermaid is so just catchy and so it's so singable. Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just you know, A Whole New World, whatever from Aladdin. All that stuff. It's etched in my mind. You know, even though I haven't seen those movies probably near as much as you have, but it's firmly there.
Yeah.
I mean, those are such great songs.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna say, pick anything pretty much from one of those movies, I think, and that would be tops or you know up in the upper echelon of what I think of when I think of great Disney songs.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Alan Menken, who pretty much wrote all the music.
Yeah.
You know, Howard Ashman was a lyricist, but Alan Menken basically wrote all the music. He wrote the music for Enchanted. That's awesome, with Amy Adams as a live action Disney princess. Also, Dana Menzel plays
Adele Dazeem.
Yeah, plays the doesn't she play her in she plays the other girl that's gonna marry what's his face? The girl that Amy Adams falls in love with. She's the other woman.
I wouldn't know.
Versus Dr. Dreamy, I think it is.
Okay.
Alan Menken wrote that. He's great. He wrote the Star Spangled Man for the music for that, for the Captain America First Avenger. He's just he's a great musician. Yeah, so you're not going to pick one. You can't just roll dice.
All right.
I'm gonna hold your feet to the fire on this one.
Under the Sea.
Under the Sea, great song. Yeah, they're all great. They're all good. And you know, like I said, even now, minus Frozen 2, I mean, Frozen, Tangled, they all have good songs. So they're all good.
Yeah,
they're all good boys, Brunt. All right. Well, that was our favorite Disney song. Let us know what your favorite Disney song is. Leave us a comment below. It's probably one that we've heard of, but maybe you'll surprise us with one. It might be one from Frozen 2. Let us know. So please stay tuned next week for our next episode. It's going to be one from my list of shame. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that social media stuff. We really do appreciate it and help spread the word. And stay tuned as we dive into some more movies from my list of shame. And we'll see you soon, guys. Happy 2022. It's going to be weird saying that for now, but have a good...
It's going to be a great year.
It's going to be a great year. All right, we've had 2 bad years. It's time for a good one. Fingers crossed. All right, have a good one, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.